he has going. So the way to do use context, like the best syntax, it's not the best, but I mean, it's a... Okay, so this is the parent component, and this is the child component. So we're gonna create context in here. So what we do is, the first thing we do is we want to create context. Now, you want to create context outside of the component because you want it to be exportable, right? So I'll tell you why. Now, actually, we're going to create it without export. So let's create user context. I'm saying user context because I'm using this one here. I'm going to link in the description below so you can see how it actually works, right? Now, I'm used to a different syntax, so that's why I had to kind of get used to. So, React, and we're going to use create context. Original value is going to be null. Okay, so now we want to create some kind of value. Let's use... Well, let's create an object. Let's say... Well, let's create value. Let's say let name equals to... Oh my god. Sarah. Let's do Sarah. Now, we want to change this to... Now, as soon as you create context, you have access to provider automatically. Because you do user context dot provider. So this provider automatically gets created as soon as you create context. And then you want value, and now whatever you put into this value, you can actually access it. Okay, so that's pretty much setup ready. So now you want your other components to consume your context. Might be gibberish, but you want your other components to see this value. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that this component is inside of the provider. Has to be inside of the provider. Right, so we do import. Let's import this component from there you go, and now we put it inside of the provider. Okay, now to be able to see this value, you need to import this thing here. So we need to export this. So now we're importing this from, what's the name of this component? I think it's the same as this, right? And we need to basically create let const data equals... Now we need to use a special hook which is called useContext. That's like the hook. So when you create a context, right, to use it, you need to use useContext hook and put the name of the context you want to use. Right, so think about this. useContext hook is like a object that has all of the context in it. Right? So as soon as you create context, that context already exists inside of this hook. So all you have to do is just call it. And now you'll be able to see that if we... Well, let's console log data, so you will see that like it's there. Where is my... So you see data is Sarah. So now if you want to use this value, we can just do something like this. Name and then data. In this case, it's going to be data because, I mean, it's literally a variable. It's just a variable, basically. Okay, so now if we look at... So you can see that Sarah isn't here. Now, you can also do an object if you want. You can just do like this. Name, Sarah, age 21. Whoops, this is 21. Okay, so now this gets passed in here. Actually, we don't want this. We want to do something like this. It's better. So now you can see that this thing is here, right? So you can either do data.name, which is going to be Sarah, like this. Data.name, you see? So now this is Sarah. Or you can destructure it here. Like so. Name, age. This way you don't need to put data in there, you know. It's going to work anyway. It's going to complain that this doesn't exist. Let's do h4 age. And that's it. Okay, so now you can see that it's working. There's the age, there is the name, and that's it. And that's how you do context. That's it, simple. Simple stuff. Take care.